G'day there guys, Floral Shirt Markee here and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Now if you're struggling through a crumbling relationship, I want you to sit back, relax, tell me what you think of today's stories and you're safe here, have a good one. Posted by user throwra3948838. Titled, My 37 female, husband 33 male, is on a cheating subreddit, and I don't know if I should be mad. My husband and I have been married for a little over a year, and I just found his porn Reddit username on his desktop. The username he uses specifically to look at porn, which I knew he had. That's not a problem. We had discussed when we were dating that viewing porn isn't a problem, and we're both open about doing it, but I was clear that messaging people and chatting, unless I know about it, is a no-no. He's been traveling a lot for work, and I'm at home with our kids, and I've been feeling pretty insecure and a bit suspicious. He suddenly got really obsessed with losing weight and started a crash diet, and I've also been feeling pretty unwanted sexually. That, with him being away so often, just made me feel a little uneasy. I'm not saying it's right to go snooping, but I found his username on his desktop. It pops up when asked to log in, and searched for it. The only comments he has, on a years-old account, are from about a week ago, when he's commented several times on a subreddit specifically for messaging people on Kik, as well as a few others. They're comments like, "I'd love to smash you and risk getting caught by my wife," "I'm sneaking away from my life to look at you," etc. Who knows if there are private messages that continue the conversation. He was away all last week, and I think he made these comments right before he left. I don't necessarily think it means he's physically cheating. I don't think these women are local, and there is no indication they live anywhere near to where he was traveling. But obviously the idea of being sneaky and doing it behind my back is a turn-on for him. I feel really hurt and confused. On one hand, it may be innocent, in that it's just a stupid fantasy that he has no intention of acting on, but it also makes me even more suspicious to find out if there are other things that I don't know about. I don't really want to keep digging, but I want to know. Should I ask him about it? Pretend that I don't know and keep snooping? Catfish or pina colada song him? I don't know what to do, but I feel like I can't trust him right now, and I also feel like a big pile of unsexy dog poop. Yenvima quotes, "I was clear that messaging people and chatting, unless I know about it, is a no-no." He knew that messaging people was stepping over the line for you, but he did so anyway. You need to have a conversation with him about this. Don't catfish him. It's immature and it'll just make matters worse. If he blames you for snooping, he's just redirecting blame from him to you and changing the conversation. He knows he's in the wrong. Stand your ground and confront him. I think you're right. All of the petty, sneaky thoughts went through my head, but I think I'd rather own up to my dishonesty, snooping, and insecurity than be childish and petty. Best case scenario, we can strengthen our relationship if we can both be honest with each other. Worst case scenario, I get out with my self-respect. My boyfriend has always told me that snooping is justified when you find something that's worth snooping for. We've always had a very trusting and happy relationship and never felt the need to snoop. Don't feel guilty for trusting your gut and knowing your worth. This might not help in any way, but if he's messaging people on Kik that he found on Reddit, he's probably messaging men pretending to be women. Lol, that actually does make me feel a bit better. This actually happened to me. Husband of 2 years got busted in this similar manner. I was never a snoop, but it auto-popped up information and it was instantly suspicious. He was moonlighting as a woman. He was messaging other straight, married men online. Through Kik, Messenger, an app that gives fake numbers, and his personal phone, meeting in public for sexual favors. His gift to me was an STD. Thank Christ it was a curable one. I was so humiliated and gutted. There were more meetups than I cared to count. It seemed about 2 a week. The whole thing was as bizarre as it sounds, and I needed massive therapy. He was instantly kicked out. What a mess. It might sound insane, but there were 0 red flags. He was masculine, but not overly. worked a trade where his schedule naturally fluctuated and was fitting these rendezvous into his day. All of his feminine clothing was being kept in the area where a spare tire would go in the trunk. Honestly, I was heartbroken and devastated, even if it sounds funny. Happy now, and that's what counts. Hoping OP's situation isn't this bad. It sounds like a damn Dr. Phil episode. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Wait, how does he pretend to be a woman and meet up in person? I use the term moonlighting. He's a cross-dresser. OP says, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. I really hope that therapy helped. It totally sucks that there are just people in this world that have so little empathy for others that they cheat and lie. My only consolation is that people like that are very, very unhappy with themselves, and it's sad that they can't let people love them for who they are. Like, there's totally someone out there who is down with a non-hetero, non-monog thing. No reason to do it behind your back aside from shame and self-hate and some very painful inner conflict. Or just being a sociopath. I guess I think most fall into the former rather than the latter. Honestly, as hurt as I will be if my husband is the same sort and is a secretive cheater, and I too will need to continue with the massive amount of therapy I've already needed, I will feel worse for him. He has to live with himself without anybody truly knowing or loving his real self. You and I don't have to live like that if we choose not to." Update: my husband is on a cheating subreddit, and I don't know if I should be mad. To sum up the original post, I caught my husband commenting and sending messages to women on a cheating subreddit. The messages were explicitly about messaging around behind my back, and the only ones I saw were from about a week ago. When he came home from work and knew I was upset, but didn't know why, he immediately deleted everything from that account, or so I thought. I confronted him that night after the kids went to bed. He asked why I was upset, and I said I think you know why. He played dumb. When I finally told him that I saw the messages, he said it was just a few times and because he's bored, and I seemed distant the past few weeks. He said he never did, nor intended to meet anyone or do anything physical. It was just a turn-on because of the taboo. We had a long conversation about trust and openness. I said I understand the desire for something new, but I don't like that he went behind my back and did it with people outside of our relationship without my knowledge or consent. He knew that while I'm fine with and watch porn myself, messaging people crosses a line for me. I had told him so before, and I consider that borderline cheating. We agreed we had a lot of work to do, but that we can move forward and work on honesty and spicing up our sex life and being stronger in our relationship. He mentioned counseling, and I said I think that's a good idea. It ended on a positive note. The next morning I was still feeling sort of unsettled about the whole thing, and figured now is a good time as any to try to verify this info. So I was going to look for more evidence on his desktop, but tell him I did so. I knew he probably deleted everything anyway, but just to be sure. Well, it turns out he was not being honest with me. Mostly everything is wiped, but I found evidence of messages from throughout the past years giving girls his Kik username and a secret email address to GChat, posts about being sick of vanilla sex with his wife and wanting some side fun, etc. I didn't find a lot of them, but I found a few dating back to a few months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. We've been married for a year and together for 3, so basically our whole relationship. We don't have vanilla sex. We are both pretty kinky, and we've talked at length about fantasies, desires, kinks, etc. So I think it's just this fantasy of sneaking around behind my back, or a cheating fetish that he's had for a long time and not told me about. So I texted him and asked if he was being completely 100% honest with me about the messages, and said now is your opportunity to come clean so we can move forward. He said it was just the one time, a stupid whim. This is when I went full Mad Queen, torching King's Landing. I told him I know he's lying, so he might as well just tell the truth for once. He kept denying, saying he was looking through everything I could possibly see and didn't know what I was referencing, so didn't know what he did wrong. Y'all, I lost my damn mind. You shouldn't need to find the evidence in order to tell me what you did. I told him I don't believe a word he says, and the trust is completely broken now. I was willing to trust him and believe his bullcrap story, and gave him the opportunity to be completely honest with me, and he blew it. He admits everything he did was wrong, but still insists that it was just a harmless fantasy thing and didn't want to really meet anyone. To me, it doesn't matter at this point. I don't need more evidence. I know he's a cheater and a liar. He's begging me to give him a chance and make this right and stay in the relationship. I love him. We have young kids, both from previous relationships, not together, and I don't want to destroy my family. But how do I ever trust him again? I don't know what I want him to do to prove that he's going to be honest. It seems like I can't trust anything he says now. The worst part is that I lost my very good job in March, and now I'm home with our kids. Homeschooling while school is closed due to the pandemic. This was a mutual decision since he has a high-paying job and can't work from home, and someone needs to be home with them right now. I feel so reliant on him, and I don't know how to begin to get out of this situation, even if I want to. My ex did crap like this, and cheated in real life also. The first time I found him out was in the days of the adult friend finder. I set up a fake profile and some chats and agreed to meet. I met him, 7 months pregnant, at the bar, and he quickly said that this was his idea of a romantic date, and knew it was me the whole time. That set the stage. Every time I caught him, he would lie through his teeth. I would have texts, emails, and the other woman's testimony at times. He never admitted it. My ex was also emotionally abusive, so I really hope you aren't going through any of that either. 6 months pregnant here, and recently found out that he'd been cheating for months. This one hits close to home. Hope you're doing better now. I am very sorry to hear that you had to deal with that while pregnant. Unrelated to this post, I went through a lot of crap with my son's dad and left him when my son was still very little. I am glad that I got out when I did, but I look back at it every time. I was too scared to leave because we were having, or had, a kid together. And honestly, the earlier you leave, the better. I thought so many times, how am I going to make it as a single mum? But I did, and was happier than with a crappy partner. Of course, this can all be applied to my current situation as well. However, it feels more difficult because my husband is not a crappy partner for the most part, and I also feel really bad about putting my kid and his through the crap of a divorce and broken family again. But here I am telling you to leave because he cheated, when I should probably take my own advice. Good luck, and I hope that you're able to move on and mend, and have a wonderful life with that little baby. What a fudging piece of crap. I don't know what to tell you. He sounds like a total slime bag that will tell you anything you want to hear just to keep himself out of trouble. Seems like he cares very little about you and your family. Yeah. That's the way it seems to me right now too. He's such a kind, sweet person, and I thought he was a really wonderful husband and dad. It's so disappointing to find out that he's not who I thought he was. He's obviously not that kind though, or he wouldn't do this. He's just good at playing nice and sweet, but he's bad at lying and respecting you. Nice people don't serial cheat on their loved ones. Posted by user ThrowRakaz, titled, "My wife stopped taking her birth control without informing me." My wife and I have been married almost 9 months. We tied the knot last December. We came into the relationship both wanting children. However, we had mutually discussed and agreed to wait until we owned a home, I finished school, and we had our finances in order more to start trying. The entirety of our relationship, she's been on the pill as her preferred method of birth control. My wife is out having dinner with her parents tonight while I'm hanging at the house with some friends. She had ordered groceries to be delivered earlier today, and when they arrived, I, of course, started to put things away. One of the items she purchased was a pregnancy test, which was such a shock that I literally felt my stomach drop when I saw it. Immediately I called her and asked why on earth she ordered a pregnancy test. Turns out about a month ago, she decided to stop taking her pill because she thought we were ready for children. I asked why she wouldn't get my input on something so huge, and she replied that she wanted to surprise me. I told her there is literally 100 different surprises that I would prefer currently, told her I'd see her later, and ended the call. Her period is due later this week, so unless she plans on taking it early, we won't know if she's pregnant for a few days. I am livid. We are not in a position to become parents currently. I certainly don't want to be bringing a newborn into this world during a pandemic. I don't know if it's justified considering we're both married and both eventually want children, but I feel absolutely betrayed that she would make a decision like this behind my back. We had even agreed that if somehow we got pregnant while she was on the pill, that we wouldn't go through with the pregnancy. I know she'll be coming home soon, and honestly, I don't even want to look at her right now or know what to say. Am I right to be upset by this? What should I do? I'm currently working a full-time job while pursuing my master's. I literally do not have the time to be a suitable parent. Edit, she just texted me saying, "I'm so sorry that you're reacting this way. You've seemed really unhappy lately, and I thought you would consider this good news." This is completely messed up, but what also stands out to me is her apology. Saying she's sorry you're reacting this way does not equal her being sorry for her actions. I agree, she's always been a crappy apologizer because she rarely thinks she's in the wrong. OP, she may be a crappy apologizer, but that pales in comparison to what she just did. What she did requires action, counseling for the two of you. I mean, you cannot trust her going forward. She doesn't think she did anything wrong, so she's going to need to hear it in many different ways. Show her info online about that term, reproductive coercion. Hell, show her these comments, as so many are rightfully calling her out. To her, you are wrong and she's right, and it's hard to believe that a grown adult can be that far off the beaten path. What she did and her reaction is a huge red flag, and red flags of that level just can't be ignored. Well, they can, but it'll come home to roost at some point in time if you give it short shrift. Any apology that starts with, "I'm sorry you're," is not an apology. Starting a family is a decision that you make together, not something you trick your partner with. The fact she claims she thought he would like this is just so asinine and manipulative. OP says she's not a good apologizer. No, she's just not a good person. Wendy Williams advised her viewers to do this. Your spouse was feeling insecure in the relationship and feels this gives her more power. If you think she was honest when she agreed to terminate an unwanted pregnancy, you're wrong. If she's not pregnant, file. Still file for divorce even if she is pregnant. Update: my wife stopped taking her birth control without informing me. I never expected the amount of replies I ended up receiving on my post, nor did I even realize the gravity of my wife's betrayal at the time of posting. I had a lot of people comment or reach out asking for an update, so here goes. I had made the decision that until we knew if she was pregnant or not, that I just wanted some distance to think and cool down from my initial anger and shock. I told the wife this, and spent a few days over at a buddy's house trying to process everything. Ironically, my wife's birthday fell within the days I wasn't home, so she's been extremely ticked at me too. She ended up informing me this morning that she got her period and asked if that means that I'm coming home now. I'm still feeling extremely betrayed by her, and although we did dodge the bullet this time round, I have so little trust in my wife now that I don't know if our relationship will be salvageable. I'd rather be a young divorcee than feel like I need to keep my condoms in a lockbox or something to prevent my own spouse from tampering with them. I'm not 100% sure if therapy would even be worth it, considering she's still infallible in her own mind. But I guess if she sees the light and genuinely apologizes soon, I would be willing to pursue it just because I do love her. As far as I'm concerned, the ball is in her court, And if she wants to try and make this right, it's going to take some actions on her part that show she's truly sorry and willing to earn my trust back. I'm not sure that even if she does make the effort, that our relationship is repairable at this point. But maybe after some extensive couples therapy, we can figure out exactly where our relationship went wrong, where she thought that behavior would be acceptable. Thanks, Reddit. OP, please remember that there's a difference between apologizing for what she did, being genuinely remorseful, and apologizing for getting caught. And the classic, I'm sorry that you got upset. I've started to see all the fake apologies under a different light since I browsed Reddit. At first, I thought they were badly worded apologies, in which the offender wanted to share responsibility. I figured out this isn't an apology at all. Same here. I've dropped a few friends for using this line exactly. Don't apologize for me, I'm not sorry. Remember, a real apology clearly states regret for the action. I'm sorry I made such serious decisions without your input. Acknowledges the impact of the action taken against you. I realize this has made you lose trust in me and see me as an unreliable and selfish partner. I also belittled you for accusing me of acting in bad faith. And describes a plan to prevent the action from occurring again. I'd like to put a plan for having children on the table and work towards that with you, but not sooner than we're both ready. That means no weasel apologies. No, I'm sorry you feel that way. No, I'm sorry, but... And never a, when are you gonna get over this? Short of that, you are over. Sorry, man. Your wife sounds awful, and I have to refrain from using a few four-lettered words to describe her. Alright, that's where I think I'm going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I really do hope you learned something or just really enjoyed the posts that were put up today. Quick shout out to all my new and existing Patreon and channel members. You should be able to see your name on screen right now, and if you don't, then I don't think you're part of the club, and you really should join the club because it's a great club. And I want to thank every single one of you guys for supporting me in this journey. It really means so much to me, and I love you all so much for it. Thank you for helping me out. As you can tell, I'm now happy and healthy back in Australia. Thank God it's not cold like Ireland. I don't like wearing jumpers everywhere. I prefer the heat. Thank you very much. I know that's an unpopular opinion. Anyway, guys, I really do hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you later. Bye.